all, welcome back. So this is part 2 of my baseline testing week. So if you tuned into the last episode a little bit earlier in the week, you will have seen that I did the functional threshold power test on the Wattbike. I did that during a Zwift race, which wasn't really ideal, but I still got some baseline numbers from it and I will be sharing them later on. So today, in a little bit later on, I'm going to be jumping on the Wattbike again and I'm going to be doing the UCI Power Profile Test on the Wattbike, which involves maximal peak power effort. So we're looking at the maximal power I can put through the bike. I'll then be doing a 30-second power effort, and then I will be doing a maximal 4-minute aerobic capacity effort as well. And after that, we'll be sitting down, looking over my numbers across both tests. So we'll be having a little look on Training Peaks, having a little look at the Wattbike data that we got, and just looking at what my baselines are. Hopefully that just then provides us with a sort of a set standard number across all the durations that I can then look at repeating those tests over the next 6 to 8 weeks and just see as we're progressing across the season. So as is really important with all these tests, but especially today with it having a lot of sort of high-end power durations at the start, I'm going to make sure I do a really good thorough warm-up, so at least 20 minutes. It's going to be a ramped warm-up, and it's going to include a few short, sharp efforts in there as well to really elevate that heart rate initially and just to actually prepare my legs for the efforts that to come within the test. So for the UCI Power Profile test that I'm doing today, the Wattbike is ideal for that. The actual test itself is pre-programmed into the bike, so we will be following the intervals based on there, doing the peak power efforts. It'll then have a set duration of rest before I then do the 30-second effort. Again, it'll have a set duration of rest before I then undertake the final 4-minute effort. The idea behind this is that the protocol that Wattbike rolled out, and you're able to actually benchmark yourself across people all around the world. Obviously UCI took it on board, so we can actually have a look later on as well at where I fall in those charts, and just see what my numbers are sort of reporting back. So with me testing this week as well, we are going to have a little weigh-in now, just to see where my weight is as well, so we can convert things to watts per kilo, and like I say, for those benchmark charts, and just obviously to relate it back as we progress through the year. Hopefully I will be losing a little bit of weight as well. Okay, so time to get set up and get changed, ready for this test, and let's see what we can do. So that was absolutely dreadful. Just as I remembered, I don't think I quite remembered how bad it is. Power profile test, 30-second effort, still definitely the worst, I think. Yeah, I get off the bike after that one, and yeah, and then the 4-minute just as brutal as well. Numbers way down again, to be expected, I suppose. Quite disappointing how far they have dropped though, but yeah, going to be a lot of work to do over the next weeks and months. But I suppose that's good motivation to try and get back to where I was, and hopefully eventually be able to press on from there as well. But yeah, it's going to be a long process, I think. A little bit shocked at how poor the numbers are at the minute. So we'll have a look at the numbers later on. I'll sit down at the computer and have a look at everything. The FTP test we did earlier in the week and all the power profile numbers from today. Okay, so we're just going to wrap up the previous week, so the 2 baseline tests I did and everything I kind of did last week. We're just going to have a little look at the numbers and talk about them a little bit. So first up, I weighed myself before each of the tests and I did weigh in quite heavy at 69 kilos, which is heavy for me compared to previous years where I've been racing around 63 to 65 kilos at sort of peak race weight. And then first at the beginning of the week we did the FTP test, so I'm just going to bring the results up and we can see from the beginning of the week my 20-minute power came out at 269 watts with obviously 95% of that converting for the FTP of 256 watts, which gives me a watts per kilo of 3.7 watts per kilo. The second test we then conducted later in the week was the UCI Power Profile Test, so 3 different durations of power. So we did the peak power, which my peak was 1276, and that gives me a watts per kilo of 18.5. My 30-second average power was 654 watts, which gives us a watts per kilo of 9.5. And my 4-minute average power was 302 watts, which gives us a watts per kilo of 4.4. So as I thought, obviously not fantastic, not great numbers. It has been a little bit of a kick in the teeth, to be honest. But at least it is a baseline number, and I know there's something to work from, and hopefully things can only get better from here. If we do have a quick look over training peaks, you can see there on my power profile, obviously, of where I have been, and where obviously I'd like to get back to. And then if you look at the last 7 days from the testing we've just done, you can see quite a huge difference in the power durations there. So there is a lot of work to do. If we have a little look as well at the performance management chart there, you can see this time last year I was obviously a lot fitter looking at my CTL compared to this time at present as well, due to the time I've had off the bike. So yeah, fingers crossed, hopefully things will only get better. So structure's starting to come in now, so we'll be setting myself sessions over the next few weeks. Also got another video coming up later this week, which we'll be talking about a little sort of stay-at-home training camp I'm going to be doing. So we'll have some more information on that coming up soon as well. But yeah, let's focus now, get back to it, and hopefully let's get those numbers increased.